Hey y'all, it's your girl Sia, and I'm back with another video. Y'all, so today was pretty wild. Actually, today was a very good day for me. Because I woke up with a mindset that I had kind of set to myself, like, um, over, let's say this. I last week when I was on vacation, I decided what I just kind of refocused on what was already, kind of in the works for me anyway, right? So things like me focusing instead of focusing on what I dislike, I about my job anyway, or whatever. I was more focused on where am I going, right? And I recommitted to my plan, which is still, like I said, it's doable. It's not like I can't do it. Um, and now I have all the time in the world to do it, which is crazy because this would actually help me to excel a lot faster than working for a job that I am not really happy at anyway. So anywho, I went in today, I even prayed. I was like, listen, God, like, let me follow your footsteps. Keep me on course with what it is that I want to do, because again, I have goals, I have dreams. And at some point, if I like, I think that initially when I started this job, again, I went into it with the mindset as it's just a stepping stone, it's only temporary, right? And then I was sold on a dream that was literally a dream. Okay, that ain't never gonna happen. The promotions, the stuff that I was sold on, if I work just this hard or I do just this good of a job, that I would be promoted. That was some bullshit. Number one, okay, it was a bunch of, I was fed a bunch of lies. That's number one. But I think I was fed them because I was supposed to be in a position where I was dumb and docile and didn't know anything. Let me tell you something. You're dealing with male egos, okay? And when you're dealing with male egos that lack true integrity, you end up dealing with bullshit that as a woman I didn't ask to do. That's not what I signed up for, right? So the conversations, like I told you guys, of constantly just microaggressions that I was constantly faced with, constantly, and just kind of let go of. I didn't realize microaggressions were a thing. I just knew that there were times in my life where I hated the job I worked for. And believe it or not, every single time I've left a job, I've come out on top. You understand this? The reason why I had to make the move that I did and make them get them to a point where they would let me go is because I have other responsibilities than I did before I was homeless, right? So when you're homeless, you ain't got shit to lose. I got a lot to lose. So if I'm gonna have to lose a little bit, you're gonna pay for some of it. That's how I see that. So I go into work, I talk to everybody, I speak, I notice things are like things are on a calendar that look a little different that weren't really there before. And all day I was kind of pondering why it looked like that. And I was just kind of expecting someone to come up and talk to me about it. No. I'm in my office, I'm chilling, and um I don't say much to anybody, right? I say good morning to the people I need to speak to. Again, people could have said good morning to me. They did not. I'm not returning the good morning. I feel like it's fair. I shouldn't, if you're not going to exercise office etiquette, I shouldn't have to, right? And so I stayed in my office. Plus, I expected to have like a ton of work to do. Okay, which I did, believe it or not. The difference between me and somebody else is that I'm a lot quicker with what I do. Okay, now My work in the summer, it wasn't that slow. Okay. This is the crazy thing is there's a lot of work to be done. There's a lot of back and forth conversation that needs to happen. But again, no tax place is really run like this company. Okay. Most tax places, the clients are able to speak directly to the tax preparer, and that's kind of how that goes. Okay. So the fact that I wasn't really being, again, as far as my job and what I did, there was no coaching, right? I was told I did a good job. I was told that, all of these lies that, again, I never knew if they were really true because the way other people got coaching, I didn't get that. I think that a lot of times I was misunderstood. There were many times where I would be joking about something. First of all, I try to stay to myself. I try not to really open up to people because I already acknowledge that you're not going to understand me. And because of who I am, you're not going to have the patience to try to understand me. Meanwhile, I watch all of my colleagues doing something very similar that I would do, or maybe even worse than I would do. I just don't say anything because it's none of my concern. Okay. From the very first point that I started this position, the first comment that I felt, let's really talk about this because let's talk about it. So my very first interaction there was amazing. Okay. It was they had a supervisor there who quit. Okay. For similar reasons that I'm unhappy. Okay. So it's a trending theme, but it instead of fixing the issues, the conversation is more of, well, let me get rid of these people. That's what it seems like. Or let me make it so miserable for them that they want to quit. And that's okay. Like, that's a person's choice. It's your business. You can run your business however the fuck you want it. I really don't give a damn. But when I'm sold to participate, because I'm forced, it's not like, you know, you need the job because you need money, right? I genuinely was excited to be at this place. You guys know that. Like, anybody who's been following me knows that the level of excitement that I had, because what it meant is that if I can do this, I can go higher. Do you understand me? I was in a place of self doubt because I didn't, and I'm proud of myself, y'all. I'm really proud of myself. I handled this well, very well, very well. Like, I am amazed at the kind of person that I am. And I think that people expect me to react in ways that, bro, I'm not going to give you that chance. Something I've learned in life is to never let them see you sweat. Okay. And not only that, but I've learned to trust myself. Am I in a situation? I'll get back to what I was saying. Am I in a situation where I could feel fear? Of course. But I also have enough faith and belief, not only in myself, like, this is what I've been going. It's like I've been in boot camp for the last 4 years, and I'm looking at myself like, oh my God, okay, God. Because I told God I was willing to I'm doing all the work. I want this kind of life. But I think that I'm afraid of where God is trying to push me to, and He's been trying to push me. If I really went through my history with y'all, this ain't the first business I've owned, okay? This ain't the first time I've been making money. The first business I had, I was making buku money, but I didn't have the right structure. I didn't have the right people around me, stuff like that. And I think I allowed certain situations, I allowed myself to make excuses instead of just getting the job done, okay? I didn't know any better. Now I know a little bit of something. It's not like, As much as I could cry, right? Y'all know I've been here before. I've been here many, 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 many times. And each time my situation has only gotten better. That's what, you know. So it's very interesting how I'm looking at this because I'm not saying this from an arrogant, I don't want to sound arrogant. I want to say that that's the case. I've even been on jobs where I have, like I said, rage quit. I told you guys that. I have raged quit, like, and went off. But it's so interesting how God works because a lot of, I would say majority, I would say almost, 99.9% of the time, I had a valid point, right? I felt a certain way in these positions. I was treated wrong. That, like I said, I've had two jobs where white women have put their hands on me. And I didn't touch them, they touched me. Do you understand me? So this isn't like, and I could really go down the list of all the poor jobs that I've had and all the terrible situations that I've experienced. And I would say this, when I was young and inexperienced, yeah, they could do whatever they want to me. But now that I'm wiser, and that's the biggest thing, I'm a lot wiser. I'm not stupid. And I think that right. I think that's, I think the fact that I'm not dumb as a black woman, like I don't know, and maybe it's not my race. I'd be trying to see it from the other side, but I just don't know how. I really don't know how. Because I see so much happening in the office. This ain't my first space being amongst a bunch of white folks. Like, this isn't my first experience. And understandably, I carry myself a certain way. I try not to, I feel as though I work hard, okay? Um, to get to where I want to be. I try. I really strive. I mean, I don't know. When I started this position, I was told that they wanted to get to a level of a much higher level of success. Okay. The guy's already at a few $1 million. Okay. That's cool. But understand that with any business, which I'm learning, which I'm interesting, it's very interesting how I came across this last night. I've been up all night, you guys. Something in my spirit just was up all night. Y'all, I paid for my EA like my EA renewed my subscription for my EA stuff, okay? Because something didn't feel right. Let me tell you something. When this man came to me about the income order for my child support, he can't legally fire me. So understand this. He can't legally fire me for the garnishment. And it's not like I owe that much money. That's number one. Okay. Keep in mind, I'm spending money on my child while she's with me. Um, and I'm spending a lot of money on my kid. Okay. So what this man did when that income order came in, okay, he walks over to me very hostile, like it was a very aggressive way to kind of approach me, okay? And he shows it to me. And I said, okay. Because in my mind, that isn't necessarily a bad thing, okay? Um, Keep in mind, and I just want to explain this. The last few months, I've had my daughter a lot more than what the courts have ordered, okay? I've had to buy my daughter clothing. I also buy myself clothing, right? I'm not going to stop living a lifestyle that I feel like I should have to live. Now, in terms of bills, in March, in February and March, my bills, I felt like they were short because there was another aspect of my income that was not coming in. And then I had extra bills that I had to take care of. Okay. I had to take care of them because otherwise I wouldn't have been able to renew like my registration, stuff like that. So I'm in this situation where I'm like, okay, if I can afford to push my bill out a little bit, I'm going to do it. Okay. My daughter is good. She's fine. She's not wanting for anything. She's got a fridge full of food. She's got clothes. She's only with me for so long. She's good. We go out and do things. It's not like she doesn't have a life that is less fortunate even over here. That's why she wants to be here more now. Okay, that's another thing. So, with that being said, I don't give a damn what the frustration is. Legally, if you Google it, I mean, I'm just, with a Google search, maybe I'm wrong. You can't legally fire me over one garnishment. That really, in my opinion, I would rather it be garnished because that means it's getting paid all the time, on time. Whereas me in my mind, I'm human. I'm gonna justify it. I'm gonna be like, okay, well, she's got X, Y, and Z. Because keep in mind, I have income coming from somewhere else, but I was also short on my rent. So this is the thing. Not bad, right? Not I pushed it off. I misjudged the income that was supposed to come in. I counted income that wasn't there. That was what it is. Okay? So my income, I said, okay, it's my birthday. I didn't really get to do anything on my birthday. So what again, these aren't things like I'm out partying and doing that. No, I'm working every day and I'm coming home at night every day. The most I do is shop, right? I'm buying me clothes, I'm buying her clothes, right? I'm buying stuff for the house, making sure that we have what we need, our groceries, right? The kid eats a lot. I pay for the food. Okay. There's times where I don't have food. Not, but there are times where I'm running low on food. I can't say I don't have food, but I'm running low on food. And because I know how to survive, right? It's okay. I've been able to tolerate it. In the meantime, I've been able to have my daughter. It's very interesting how the situations flip like that because now my daughter's with me from Friday to Sunday. And if she could be with me sooner, she would. She would. This is where our relationship is at. It's very interesting how it just flipped like that. So I want to be clear. Even though I owe child support, I just paid them $2,000. It's not like I just cleared my balance to zero. And I feel like if I gotta pay for her when she's with me, and I'm not saying it like that, but low key, I do end up spending like $200-300. It ain't like she's just going without. Just bought her a pair of tennies. Like this ain't the job's good. So if I feel like okay, it's financially, I can push the bill out a little bit, I will. The thing is though, I'm at zero. So they're in a phase right now where and I owe probably I would say about maybe $400. Okay. $500. Not that much. They just tried to suspend my license and they then revoked it was weird. The state of Colorado hit me up, the Denver hit me up. Okay. And they were both like, we're coming with suspending your license. I didn't get this mail until like I didn't get the mail until I went and picked it up on Saturday, I think it was, or maybe Monday, maybe Friday, something like that on my vacation. Okay. So I go and I pick up my mail, and I'm starting to see that I got these notices for suspending my license. And I know damn well I just paid this balance to zero, and I know they have a record of it because I was just in contact with them. But my thing is this: if I give you $2,000 and you're getting this from my income, then and my balance is zero, when Christmas time comes around, I'm spending buku bread on the kid. I'm spending money to make sure she has a good time. I'm seeing it as she's still getting the money either way. So y'all will be fine. That's how I justify it in my head, whether it's right or wrong. Okay. So they give you about 3 months to really not pay or whatever. Okay. And when I called them on Friday because I was like, wait, y'all are garnishing my wages. That's number one. Are you trying to garnish my wages? Which again, in my mind is fine. Whatever. I mean, if that's what you choose to do, fine. I would prefer to be able to move the money how I want to move it. But if that's what you got to do, then do it. Okay. Um, and I've seen that done where it's actually, like I said, it's preferred because you're getting the money up front. Instead of you hassling me about my license, you might as well just collect your shit up front if you can. Um, so the guy sends, he sees the order. And I think, like I said, I believe it was just a means to kind of prejudge. Again, it all has to do with prejudgment, right? Because yes, I pay child support. No, my kid is not with me. You know, why would she be with me? Like, this is the thing. They don't know what I've gone through. They haven't taken the time to try to get to know what I've gone through. So in the sense that if I'm short and I'm short on my rent, I'm short on all my bills. This was just like a month ago, but keep in mind, I'm supposed to be getting paid on a pay date that's set in stone during my compensation package. Okay. And you paying me the second day after. So any bills that I have that are set for that day, you're paying me whenever the fuck you really want to pay me, and that income is not hitting my account, and or you're moving so fast you're being careless with how you enter in the information. Okay, so if I'm not getting my paychecks on time, that does cause issues, because that's not what I expected. If I'm on a salary, I should be getting paid the same amount every day, every time. And obviously it changes with the weekend, right? That's just normal payroll. But I should not wonder when I'm getting paid. I should not have to question that. And I've had to question that more than what I feel like has been 5 times. Real talk. And if you want to say that's exaggerating, we can say 5 times, right? That's one too many times. And twice in a row, that's a problem. It's a problem. So it's put me in a weird spot. And then obviously I have bills. I have things that I have to take care of that require immediate attention. Okay, that's another thing. So I have to be able to move bills that fit with my pay schedule. You understand? So for me, it's like if she's getting what she needs up front, she has all the food she wants. I take her to, let's go pick out what you want. What do you want? Okay. Um, I just feel like that don't make no difference in my ability to be a mom and to do a mom. I understand that you probably shouldn't be late on your bills, but how I see it is if I can push it out and maneuver, I got to do what I got to do. Okay. So here's the deal. He shoves that in my face and I look at it, and in my mind I'm like, I'm embarrassed, because it's like, why would you do that? Like, that's not how you handle that. That's not the proper way of handling that situation. Okay. And I was very upset, by the way. I was very kind of like, I stayed to myself for the rest of the day. And when it was my time to take vacation, I said bye to everybody or whatever and was out, you know? And it was so funny to me because he was sitting there offering me, hey, do you want to go to Dillon, Colorado? Would you like to go to so and so? And I'm thinking, why would you even offer that? That's number one. Like that, now that I think about that, that's crazy, right? But he's offering these things, and I'm like, something in my spirit was just like, nah, I'm good, right? And I thought about it. I was like, we could have went up there this weekend, but then again, nah, something in my spirit is saying, nah, don't do this, right? He had a condo that he was like, all I ask is that if you're in there and we're, somebody's viewing the house, that you take a walk or whatever. And I'm thinking, I'm not about to put myself in that fucked up position, because low key, I shouldn't have to leave this place that I'm supposed to experience. You're selling a house in Colorado, bro. That shit's gonna sell. Okay. And where it's located, I'm expecting it to sell. And who you guys are, it's not an if, it's going to sell. So why would I put myself in a predicament where I would have to pack up, 2, 3 days later, or however that looked, just to be able to stay there to enjoy myself? Okay. So that offer, what it tells me, it was disingenuous. It was not a genuine offer. Okay. That's number one. My spirit told me, don't take it. That's why I've been home. Okay. Enjoying my vacation. I was really enjoying it. Right. And that's a problem. Okay. So I ended up going through this phase of, okay, I want to make more, I need to make more money, right? I want to make more money, but I need to make more money because I think things are shifting and I need to get to the next level. That's just where my head was at. And it was more of, what do I want? Asking myself, okay, what is it that you really, really want? Right? Because a part of me did not want to go back to work during this vacation. Right. And it had nothing, it just, I'm tired. I'm tired of dealing with these people. I'm tired of the experience. Like, I'm over it. Like, and it's nothing against anyone, but I felt like, damn, I really don't want to go to work. But I went to work anyway. And I worked all day. And it was very interesting to me because I'm like, why didn't you just let me go? Like, why didn't you just like, it was weird. You got me working there. I'm talking to everybody. I'm asking questions about things, and everybody's kind of giving me like they're not really talking to me. I show up, nobody asks me about how my vacation was, right? And I notice these things, but I don't care. Do you understand me? I'm not here to kiss your fucking ass, right? If you got something to say, then fucking say it, bro. If you don't have nothing to say, then I don't have nothing to say. It's that simple, right? Now, I got in there, I said good morning. Some people said good morning, other people walked right past me, just looked at me and didn't, fail to acknowledge me or whatever. Then I started working, I'm doing my work, I'm going through my motions or whatever. And the end of the day comes and I'm kind of just sitting there. Now I have work to do. It's not that I don't have work to do, but I do have work to do. What I was told on last Monday was that, hey, when you have some downtime, first of all, this man keeps telling me, well, you need to go get your EA. You need to get your EA. You need to get your EA so that, you can get promoted, yada, yada, yada. You know what I mean? That's what he's telling me. Let's keep that in mind. That's something he's been telling me since I started. I told him when in my interview, I said, hey, look, I'm in school, right? To be an accountant, right? This is what I'm going to school for because I started this way and I want to learn more. I'm passionate about what I do. I want to grow. I want to be in an opportunity where I can grow off the rip. My thing is this. I'm in school. These are the things that I want to do. And this man tells me, oh, well, I will prefer an EA over a CPA any day. That's what he tells me in my fucking interview. So off the rip, if I was weak, right, I would have been thinking like, maybe I shouldn't be getting my CPA or, whatever. But the EA had already been suggested to me. Okay. That's already been suggested to me through, my roommate's mom, who was a CPA. When I asked her how to go about this profession, she was the one who guided me because she was a CPA and she went a very similar path. So the question posed to her was, okay, so I've got this experience, I've got this experience. How do I get to the next level? She told me to go get my EA. And the reason being is because the EA is a lot easier to get, okay, than it's a lot easier to get than the back, like going through the course of college. Okay. So I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do it. Then I looked into it. At that time, they wanted me to do a vaccine and all that. And I was like, nah, I'm going to go a different route. She told me also to go to H&R Block. So I went to H&R Block, go do their schooling, right? Go do these things, go learn. I did that. So for me, the EA was already something that should have been done, but I haven't had the time to do it. Okay. I've been so wrapped up and focused in this company and working that I just haven't had the time to do it. So here we are in this situation. And this man is telling me, well, maybe you should go get your EA. So I'm like, okay, why not? But at the time, I'm in school. So I'm like, okay, I need to focus on school because I'm taking courses a lot quicker than the average student. Okay. And he knows I'm in school. He knows what I'm going to school for, but you don't know how many times this man has asked me, what are you going to school for? Okay. I peep game. When you tell people something and they treat you like they didn't hear you, that tells you something. The respect level was never there. It was never there. Never. It was never there. The understanding my value or my worth and or investing in my value and my worth, right? Was never there. It was never there from day one. Okay. So here I am in this environment where I'm meeting another, and she's Spanish. She's a Spanish woman, and she and I are very similar. So we clicked off the rip. But I think that, especially knowing what I know now, there were a lot of different people with a mindset that, like, because I was someone who, I'm not here to talk to you, I'm here to do the work. I don't have time to be chatting with you for 30 minutes and 45 minutes the moment I'm walking in when I've got fires to put out on a Monday. So I can say hi and bye, but I don't need any extra like conversation. Like, let me go settle in, let me log into my computer, let me get to my space, and then come ask me questions. I don't see anything wrong with that. Now, if I'm in a space of getting coffee, then yeah, if you don't mind, I would prefer some coffee. I don't mind talking to you. I don't mind chit chatting with you, but I still got to go to my desk. I don't have time to be chit chatting around the water cooler. Like I do, but I don't. So it's very interesting. Like I said, what companies value. And in my opinion, sometimes the idea of culture is cool, but like, if you're not getting the work done and people aren't being, they're being lazy and they're lacking in their approach and they're not organized and they don't know what they're doing, I would see that as kind of a problem. Right? I don't know. But then again, I understand that you work in a culture where you want people to feel like they don't have a boss, like they're there, everybody's playing for the same team. But ultimately, the company has to make money. In my opinion, I understand culture and I respect culture, but I respect culture when it's real, not phony and fake. That's just what it is. So I'm in this situation where I'm telling this man what I want to do. Instead of respecting what I said, he told me what he would prefer. I didn't ask you. Like, and in the interview, that's really what ran across my mind is like, okay, and you asked me a question. I'm telling you, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm committed to. So sign the disrespect. That's number one. But I let it go because I need a job. And no offense, I was so excited to be a part of something that I really was interested. I'm still interested in. Okay, but at that time I was so new. I wanted to be around people who were like me. I felt like I needed to know if I'm doing this right or not. I needed to know if I was making the right choices in my own career path. Okay. Now, also, I wanted to learn. I'm thinking, okay, why not? I could give it a couple years or whatever, as long as I was learning and growing. That's where I stop learning and growing. That's where you start losing me. It just is what it is. So I recognize that. I remember going home telling my roommate about the situation, and my roommate, well, he understood. It's all about self worth and respect, but it's okay. It's light. It's fluffy. He was smiling. You got the job, whatever. Like that's cool, right? That's great. I'm excited for these things, right? I get there, I'm like, listen, as long as I get my foot in the door, I'm willing to do whatever. Like, I'm willing to do whatever you want. Like, I'm willing to learn, grow. If you need to put me in customer service, put me in customer service. So I get in this place. The first girl I meet, she's amazing. She's awesome. Her energy is just great. Okay. I feel comfortable. I haven't met my boss. I didn't know my boss really until after tax season of last year. And right away we were sent to Las Vegas or whatever. That was kind of like the bonding moment. Okay. And keep in mind, I'm not a dumb woman. So in my mind, and when I say dumb, I just mean like just not knowing what's going on, not peeping game. So I seen things and I felt things within my intuition that were inappropriate. Okay. I've been put in positions where I feel like I was being touched inappropriately. And these are the things that I'm dead ass about, okay? But I'm silent because I feel like I'm learning, I'm growing, right? Not in Las Vegas, but every time, y'all just don't understand. If I really went into detail about my experience with this place, right? Not okay. And that's fine. God is telling me, get out. And when I say touch, I mean in places that, again, it could be, I don't think it would be questionable. If you're touching me on my hips, right? And on my lower, tummy, that to me is inappropriate. I don't give a damn. I don't care. I felt uncomfortable in those situations. I really don't care. But in my mind, I'm thinking, okay, there's other people around me, right? So maybe this is just how this person is. Maybe this is how this person just, maybe I'm overreading it. Maybe I'm overthinking it, right? Is my thought process. Okay. Maybe I'm, maybe I'm, maybe it's just me. This is my thought process, even though it don't feel really right. Okay. Then you have situations where you have in Vegas, it felt like there was this woman. I don't care what people say, but I believe that this woman is doing extracurricular activities with the owner. Okay. And I really believe that. Okay. I was roommates with this girl. I felt like certain behavior, again, if you're looking from an employee standpoint and a company standpoint, again, I'm coming from places that are much bigger, that are got a lot more going on than this. Okay. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, if you're trying to get this company to run the way that you're saying you want it run, what I felt like was going on was inappropriate. It was inappropriate. I don't care how you look at it. It made everybody to perceive the behavior a certain way. And if everybody's on the same board with that, then that's a problem. Now, what's very interesting, you guys, is that last year I got a bonus, I got a promotion, right? I got a promotion around this time. It's very interesting how I'm being cut out. I'm the only woman on the team. This is why this man can't cut. Listen, I'll be damned. I'm not fucking playing. I'm the only woman on the team. He wants to cut me out at the time where we should be discussing promotions. We should be discussing bonuses. But guaranteed, the men are going to get their bonuses. Understand, the men are going to get their promotions because now they were just able to eliminate a decent amount of income. Boom. There's your raise. Okay. So I'm in a position where I felt like the women who were there were a lot of women there, and when women are there, I felt more comfortable being there, right? I felt more like women were trying to include me and everything else. Now, there were times where, like I said, I couldn't engage because I had work to do. But for the most part, I felt like I fit in. When the entire office really either started working from home or they're all men. And I mean, that's cool, whatever, but it was uncomfortable. It was uncomfortable. Okay. That type of environment becomes cliquish. It's very weird. It's different. Okay. So I have a feeling that all my income will go to them, and that's okay. But here I am in my beginning stages, and this white lady, this girl that I don't even know, first of all, she reaches over me to grab something off of my desk as I'm bookkeeping, right? And I'm probably the only one there that's super focused on my computer because I'm bookkeeping, I'm actually working, I'm not sitting around talking and talking and talking. Okay, because that was the issue. Work wasn't getting done. In some areas it was, in others it was a bit slow, and I'm over here doing my best to, do my work the best I can, as fast as I can, learn as much as I can, and be done with it. Okay, I'm not there to hang out as much as I'm there to work. That was my thought process. Okay, girl comes over to me. She reaches over me and grabs something of mine off my desk. And so naturally, I'm looking at her like, that's fucking rude. But it is what it is. The girl naturally responded. She was super bubbly. I loved her. Instantly fell in love because I was like, okay, girl, you get that pass, right? But it was rude. Right? It's rude. You can ask me about it, but you don't know me. This is my first day on the job. But because he's, you know, she's dude's nephew or niece, excuse me, it was like, okay, I just feel like maybe she felt like she could do that, and that's all. That's fine. I didn't like it, but it is what it is. Instantly, personality, I love it. It's bubbly, I love it. Right, I really really like it. um and then one of the ladies came up to me, and she tells me about how her rent is so cheap, and compared to, the people around her in certain situations, probably because, she's a white girl, they rented it to her. She got it at a deal, probably because she's white. If I need a babysitter, let her know because she can babysit. These are things that they're telling me. When my hair changes, they're always asking me questions about my hair, coming up to me and touching it without even asking. These are things that are being done. Naturally, I'm going with the flow, but I'm still me. So I'm pushing back a little bit because, like I told the girl when she said it's because I'm white, I said, duh. Like, I didn't mean to, like, okay. And my point was, like, why did you even have to say that? But I'm not going to ask her that. I was just like, duh. I'm sure that's why. Like, if you need to point that out, like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck? Okay. Crazy shit. So in my mind, I've been through a lot, like, and there's little things like that. Like, you keep telling yourself you're gonna move past this shit, right? You're gonna be able to move past it. You're good. It's just little stuff. But that shit eats up at you because it's like you're pointing out the fact that I'm different. Now, something I've said, I've kept my door shut. That's another thing that really ticked me off. I kept my door shut. I've always had my door shut. This ain't like nothing new. Just because we moved to a new office space, you're telling me I can't have my door shut? Then announce that shit and make sure everybody knows that shit. Right? How is it that my door being shut is being misinterpreted as me being wanting to be left alone? No, I'm chilling. I'm in my own zone. I'm working. I shouldn't have to feel like I have to join lunches, right? To feel like I'm a part of something. Like, that's crazy. For other people to feel like I fit in. Like, No, y'all haven't, these folks haven't tried to get to know me, not one bit. And the things that they did try to get to know about me, it was very like judgment, like, no, I don't want to say judgmental because they didn't have shit. I think I confused them a little bit. I didn't have nothing to be judgmental, for them to be judgmental of. I'm a woman that, my life is just untraditional. It just always has been. But by the grace of God, I be coming up. I just got to keep the focus. I got to stay focused. So for them to, I don't know. He knew I had my business. So if it was that, like, you hired me with that. But then again, you only hear what you want to hear. And I already told him all that. I told him that over the phone. So whether or not he realized that, I don't know, tell him. This is on my resume. This is what I do. I don't think it was that. It could have been some of that when he realized that my business is an actual business. Maybe that's when it realized, like, oh shit, okay. I don't know. Because keep in mind, all this has happened in the last few months. It's only been feeling weirder over the course of the last few months. Since the new year. It's weird. So here we are in a situation, right, where this man decided to come to me today. Okay. Now keep in mind, these are little things. Just like I said, it's just, we had that tiff where, I felt like I said, in this situation, I'm trying to fix a situation, right? I want to be able to help fix a problem. When you have a problem in the midst, a person that is shouldn't be doing the work anyway, is not willing to do the work. And maybe it was that she was going through a lot. I don't know, but I know that woman has had a lot more grace than I ever have. That's for damn sure. The woman we think, is having extracurricular activities with folks. Okay. So in her situation, what I felt was she was putting on a lot of her work on me in the guise of we. But girl, I ain't getting paid like we. Like, no offense, but I'm not getting paid what I feel like I should be getting paid. And I feel as though my pay started off, what happened was he probably really didn't understand what I was able to do, because really that first promotion came pretty quick. And in my mind, it's like, thank you for the promotion, but I feel like I should have been getting paid that from the beginning. That should have been my entry level pay, not what he offered me. But I didn't understand the scope of the work at that time. So keep in mind, I do feel like I was underpaid. That is how I felt for the level of work that you're asking me, at the quality level that you're asking me. I feel like I'm underpaid. Not only do I feel like I'm underpaid, and I'm pretty sure I am, because I'm doing interviews with other people, right, who also get paid a decent amount, So that's another conversation for it, in itself. My promotion should have been something a little bit more reliable, something a little bit more stable, to where I'm not having to do things like Uber, right, to make ends meet. Like, and I'm not saying a lot, but I can do a lot, And if I wasn't skilled, why do you have me in that position? If I didn't have the skill sets, and I know I have the bookkeeping skill sets, I know I've got those skills. Why wouldn't you? It's almost like, why wouldn't you put me in a position to win and help your company win? So the more uncomfortable, unhappy I am, the more I'm realizing my position doesn't have a place the more I don't want to be there. You understand? When I first started, I told you guys this, but the guy who one of their clients told me, you're only gonna, because I told him, he was asking me what my aspirations were and what my dreams were and what I wanted. And I said, hey, look, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm excited for. I want to grow. I want to be able to do the things that I know I can do, right? He said, listen, he said, you see this right here? This man talked to me for an hour. Listen, and my spirit wants to fucking cry, bro, because that man told me, I'm telling you guys, this was only 3 months into the gig. The man told me I was only going to be able to go so far. Do you understand me? He said, this man, and he pointed, he said, I love him. He said, but he said, he's giving you, he's there, just so you know, there's a glass ceiling. That's what this client of this man, still to this day, he doesn't know I'm gone. Wait till next tax season. We'll see. But he told me, he spoke to me for an hour straight, okay? And he was like, look, I love Black people. And this guy is from India or something like that. Maybe not India. No, I think it's India. And he was like, or maybe not India. Maybe that's the wrong place. He's from the Middle East. And he was like, I love Black people. He said, I grew up with Black people my whole life, around diversity my whole life. He said, I come to Colorado, and he's like, it's very different. And he starts talking about how I'm only going to be able to go so far because of my skin color. This is what this man is telling me. He's an older man, older, like in his 70s, telling me this. And we're in a meeting, a tax meeting. And this man took an hour of my time. Like it was good conversation. Took an hour of my time to tell me this. And so in my head, I'm listening to him, but I don't know the man that hired me. I really didn't know him at that time. It was fun in the beginning because it was like, okay, you're taking me, you're coaching me, you know. He coaches people all the time, right? He takes his favorites and then he coaches them. So I'm thinking, okay, if I get in, you know, you gonna be able to coach me, and I'll learn something. I'll become a protege, right? That's what I was interested in, but it didn't happen that way for whatever reason. Okay. So in the beginning, he was taking me to events. He was, asking me if I wanted to do all these different things that I just, was really, I felt like it's good for me to learn so I can, learn to do these things. I would think that, if you're teaching people and this is what you say you like to do, I would think that you would, teach people. Okay. So there's no trainings, there's no teachings, there's no nothing. And that's fine. Okay. I don't think that's what accountants do, right? I don't think that's what accounting firms are about, right? I think it's unfortunate because you have a lot of young people coming into the industry. And the only reason why these folks are being brought up is because they're Spanish. They're the same race. It's like if I had a business where my job is Black people, I'm gonna try to help them. I don't know that I've never been in a position of that, circumstance, but I'm sure I would try to help my people as much as possible. Why not? If I have the means to do it. So it felt like, we get rid of all the women because all the women are gone except like one manly woman and, the niece, right? And maybe a few older women, right? So it's very much become like a boys club, but all the women, again, they're older, so they kind of get along, and that's fine. I'm younger. I don't got time for the bullshit, When I see my career, I'm like I said, I stopped seeing the fact that I want to be a CPA. That's what I want to do. I don't have a way to work under a CPA to be able to make money, to be able to get those credits, to be able to get that, certification. I don't have the, they didn't have that set up. So I'm doing all of these things. I feel like I'm working my butt off, right? I'm striving to get them organized. I'm coming in, I'm striving to clean things up. I'm striving to, hey, what do you think should work? Trying to collaborate. People intentionally misunderstanding me. People, really from day one checking my temperature. And it's like I've been very patient. I feel like very, very patient to get to this point. So I go in today, and this man says, he lets me work all day. He comes in the office and he's like, hey, look, so did you figure out what you were going to do yet? Did you figure out what you were going to do with your life yet? And I'm thinking, huh? Like in my mind, what are you talking about? He said, well, when you were on vacation, did you think about a lot of things? I think about a lot of things. Did you think about anything? What do you mean? I think about a lot of things. What are you like? I'm not trying to show you my hand. I don't know you. Like, like I don't know what you're meaning, right? I feel like when he's around other people, with certain other people, he will be more direct. With me, he's very vague. So I'm like, okay, what do you mean? What are you asking me? Other people just shrug their shoulders. Maybe I should just shrug my shoulders. But in my mind, it's like, what are you asking? Because there's plenty of things that I thought about over the week. Like, I mean, what are you asking? What I ate for breakfast? In what context? What are you asking me? Well, did you think about anything? First of all, you're not my dad, so and you're not gonna talk down to me. So what are you talking about? Like, I'm always going to be, I'm not like, I'm an adult. I thought about a lot of things. And I said it with a, smile. Well, yeah. So did you think about where you want to go? And I said, well, yeah, I decided that I was going to go ahead and get my EA. Well, yeah, 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 yeah. He just shut that shit, yeah, 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 yeah. Keep in mind, I'm going, whatever. And I'm like, I'm back in school, obviously. Like these are things that I've got going on for me that were going on for me before I started working there, that I'm still doing. Just because the season stopped, it don't mean that I stopped. You see what I'm saying? So my growth is continuing. So in my mind, I'm like, well, yeah, where you get up with this? Because it was a weird conversation. I'm going to crack the door, whatever, okay, like, okay, whatever. Then he says something. I'm like, I don't even know what you're talking about. Like, I really don't know what you're talking about, bro. Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Okay. But he's joking. So I just, I laugh it off. I don't know what he's talking about, but okay. Then he says, this is what he says. Then he tells me, he says that, this man, he says, well, do you feel like you have a lot of work right now? And I'm thinking, well, not really. I mean, I do, right? In terms of what you've asked me to do, you know what I mean? But I don't at the moment. I'm working on my, I figure I take a little break because I sit behind the computer. I'll take a little break and do my EA. Why not? Work on it. That's what you told me to do, right? Oh, well, since you don't have enough work, I think that I'm gonna just let you go. Oh, okay. And I said, oh, okay. I said it just like that. Oh, okay. Cool. Because the truth of the matter is, I don't understand the logic of the company. I don't understand how they're moving. Now, I understand on paper, right? If you are almost close to your degree or whatever, and you've had a little bit of knowledge, you've been doing this for a little bit, right? Keep in mind, this is a guy who came from Panda Express, okay? So you literally groomed him, right? All the way on up, right? To where he's now the tax manager, right? What about me? That's how I always felt. Like, what do I gotta be, a boy to get that kind of, or doing something else as a woman to get that level of attention? Like, I'm here, I'm hungry, I want to learn, but you're not invested in me the way you're invested in other people. And it's always been that way. It's always been that way. Hell, I was invisible for the first, what, 6 months? So, um, this morning I woke up and I didn't want to go to work. I did not want to go to work. I did not like, and I have never been in that space where I was just like, yo, I do not feel like going to work. I don't want to go because this week has taught me, first of all, I do have power. Now, what has happened is, okay, my income source. Okay, you're telling me you're going to pay me. I haven't received my first paycheck. My last paycheck, I'm supposed to receive that within 24 hours. I haven't received that yet. I haven't received any of my income yet. Any of my checks yet. My direct deposit yet. My checks. But what I told him was, and I handled it very well, because in my mind, I'm like, that's some bullshit. Because just last week, you were telling me that you wanted me to leave, right? Because of my attitude. But then when I called you out on your shit, now we got now it's a whole nother excuse. We already know it was a bunch of excuses. You yelling at me, you got folks disrespecting me, right? And again, these are Jewish men. They're not gonna fucking listen to me. You trying to pretend like I don't do a job to appease everybody that works there. It was obvious I'm the like, when I say common denominator, I mean in terms of I was the person that was gonna have to go, because these people have certifications. It's different than me. It's a CPA. He's 70 something years old. Okay, well, they're all like 50, 70 something. So it makes sense why, like, from a business standpoint, okay, I would let go of me too. I don't know if I would have let go of me or other people, but I would have let go of me. I could see why I was let go. Because in my opinion, there was no reason for my job. I feel like the preparers could do all of that on their own. Not only that, but that's part of my frustration, was I felt like there was no need for my position. Where does it go? And if the conversation is, well, I don't know where it goes, well, then what the fuck do you have that position for? What do you have it for? So I think that, in my situation, I was unhappy, and slowly but surely, like every little thing that really, I just felt like it was just a matter of manners and respect, right? Woman said, hey, look, I want to learn from you. And I'm coming up to her and I'm like, hey, I don't mind, teaching you. She snaps on me. Okay. And I'm not supposed to tell you, don't raise your voice at me. I've had people yell at me the entire time I've been there, disrespect me the entire time I've been there. But because I wasn't the person that was just going to tolerate that shit, right? You weren't just going to get me to bend over and bend backwards. Like, that's not going to how I'm the person that has to go. Everybody else smiles in their face. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Does their job half-ass. Yeah, 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 yeah. but they're all buddy buddy. And the dynamics have a point where, like I said, I believe that everything happens for a reason, and when you're dealing with situations where people, it's a very cultural, in my opinion, I felt like it was a very biased, again, you assumed I was poor. Okay. But the offer of a babysitter, that's not innocent. Maybe it was innocent in the way that it was done, but then you should have enough intelligence to be like, nah, you know what I mean? Like that you don't know what class I come from. Clearly. But you're asking me about a babysitter? Really? You know what I mean? If I need a babysitter, that never even came out of my mouth. It was just, hey, if you need a babysitter, I don't know you from a can of paint. I'm not sending my kid with you. Then the whole idea of, oh, I really care about your kid, but you don't even know the child's name. You're disrespecting me in front of my child. I mean, not in front of my child, but you're disrespecting the child that you say and you care about. You can't even say her name. It's 3 syllables. How do you not know what it is? So don't gaslight me and try to tell me that you knew what it was and that you care about this child. You don't care about her. You don't even know her name. And with this girl, that I felt like there was extracurricular activities. That's just my opinion. Okay. And from what I could see and sense, okay. The moment I told her I felt like she was disrespecting me, that was the moment things shifted for real. Because then the owner stepped in and said, well, I don't feel like, anybody's disrespecting anybody. But you just talked to me about attitude, what, a few weeks after that? Okay. You know what I mean? Like, okay, then you don't talk to me for a week straight. And you get upset because I put in the notes that I talked to you about it and you have not communicated it, right? Oh, well, it's a legal document. Exactly. So if anything goes down, folks know exactly who did it and why. I mean, I don't know about why, but they know who did it, when it happened, how it happened. You don't talk to me for a week straight. You're a goddamn man, and you thought I was supposed to be able to just walk up to you and force you to talk to me? You're the owner. You're intentionally shunning me. That was the intent. So as an employee, I'm going to naturally rebel and be like, I don't give a fuck. I will treat you with that same. That shit don't work on me. That's not cool. That's not the proper way to handle something. If you're an adult, you're going to handle it like an adult. Same thing like I told him in that meeting, the initial meeting of where I was prepared to fire you. Okay, so you should have done it. The fuck? I was prepared. I was prepared to fire you. I was prepared to let you go because the attitude. Well, everybody's got an attitude. So what you're telling me is that because of your personal bias, because you guys don't know how to communicate, I say hi, you guys should be able to say hi back, right? But I shouldn't be the only one ever saying hi. Good morning. I come in, I don't feel like if you're not in my department, why are we in each other's face? Like maybe that's just my experience. Why are we in each other's face outside of breaks? There's no need for that. There's no reason for that. But because it's the culture and I want everybody to feel good. But what I'm looking at it as is if you're saying that the motivation is more money, this man is going to be paying these folks. They've been doing the same thing over and over again and they're getting the same results. You can blame everybody and your mama. Even with a raise, them folks are still going to operate and work the same way. And maybe that's what it needs to do. Maybe that's how the company goes. Like maybe it's almost as big as it probably can get. The guy's getting older, folks are getting older, right? Maybe that's what it is. And I'm not saying that in terms of, I feel like my dreams are more for a company that is growing. And I mean, actually growing, like choices are being made, people aren't quitting, there isn't a lot of turnover, stuff like that. Since I've been there, the company has had turnover. And again, my experiences are initially started through the like when the women, other women would work in this space, okay? They would tell me things that they also shared very similar thought processes, okay? As it pertains to the culture, as it pertains to um individuals, okay, and how they relate to one another and connect to one another, okay. I don't know how to explain it, but y'all know what I mean, okay. Think out, you know what I mean. I'm talking about relations, okay. And everything that I've complained about on this channel, they have essentially complained about very similar things. When I first started, there was an HR lady who showed up, and the HR lady was there because people felt like they were being like there was a lot of favoritism going on. You had the white girls, the white Americans, where it was, and these are younger people. A lot of them were pretty young. And not young like 20s. I'm talking about 40s, 30s, like young in terms of the industry. You had people upset because they felt like people would speak in Spanish and not speak in English type stuff, right? Um, like they would like it was a lot of things going on, right? Work, people were hired, but the work wasn't getting done. People felt like they were underpaid, same arguments, right? Very similar arguments. And there were a lot of things that I heard prior to prior to Vegas. I heard a lot of stuff. There was a lot of information coming about. There was a woman who I noticed her daughter was never allowed to be with the owner by herself. It was never discussed with me, but considering the rumors and the things that were said in previous from other women, from what I've experienced, right? Or feel like I experienced maybe, because I could be totally wrong. I don't know, but that's where I was being touched. Okay, often. Okay. And I'm not saying often like a lot, but often enough to be like, okay, this is awkward. Okay. And then he would oftentimes tell the story of the woman who also stated that she didn't like how he was coming up on her and like touching her or whatever, or maybe not touching her, but like approached her or whatever, something like that. And he goes on into the story and he's always got to justify and always got to explain to people that he doesn't think that way, that he's not that kind of guy. It's an over, like, you didn't even ask for that conversation, but he's telling you, I would just never do that. And I'm thinking, you do that all the time. You have what I feel is very inappropriate type relations. Um, there are a lot of things in that situation that were just red flag, but again, you believe so much in the company that you want to see the company grow. You want to see it thrive. You want to see it, like, you believe in the dream that you're being sold. And this happens in corporate spaces a lot. You believe in the idea and the culture. But as a Black woman, because I do have a backbone, because I am someone that, like, I do speak up at times. I don't speak up all the time, but I speak up when I feel like it's necessary. And while that may offend other people or bother other people, um, that's really a them problem. That's not a me problem. So I feel like this, you guys. I handled the situation very well. I didn't get upset because I feel like I already knew what, like, I feel like the intent was they were trying to get rid of me the whole time. I've said this time and time again. The reason why there was no investment put into my position is because, first of all, my position didn't even really matter. When you've got, like, it does matter in a sense, but I'm sure that the conversation, because even I said I would much rather, you know, I would think that it should run like an H&R Block. Maybe I'm wrong, but I would think that it should run like an H&R Block. I would think that that's how the company should run. The way it's set up. You've got people coming in, they're wanting to meet with the tax professionals, let them meet with them. And the question was, would I become a tax professional? I didn't say no. It's just, again, you can't ask me these questions and think that an open, like, I mean, it's a yes or no question, but what does that mean? Does that mean more income? Does that mean that I'm staying at the same income? Like, give me the details. Don't just ask me a question and then not tell me what you're really thinking. To me, it tells me that there's no real investment in my position in my career. And that's what I felt like. That's what I felt like. I felt like I was there to do all the work and reap very little reward. That's what I feel like. And I always go back to, well, I should appreciate the fact that I have 27, I make a certain amount of money every so often. But the reality of it is, I was slowly becoming unhappy. Every day I walk into the office, I got 50 people bombarding me about what they think they should be talking to me about. And my thing is, why aren't you at your desk? And maybe that's not the mentality to have, but when you have such a high workload, I don't have the time to be kicking it. Shoot. So I feel like I was I was mistreated in that situation. That's okay. That's how they felt like they should have done me. That's okay. I heard, I was talking to somebody else and I heard that another girl, when she quit, this is what the thought process was, is that the owner made a girl who was not really, um she was a manager, but she wasn't really, like, she doesn't have the experience to do the work. And the other girl she's actually certified, like she's certified with the IRS to do the work. And they would not put her in position as she should have been put in position. The person that was put in position was the girl that was, in my opinion, I felt like she's secretly jealous of any woman that appears to be a threat to her. This is another white woman. And I noticed that anything she was able to touch, anything she was able to dabble in, she destroyed. The people's friendships, right? They actually have friendships outside of the job because they met outside of the job. Now they ain't even friends no more. The girl quit because she feels like she has the right to that spot. She earned it. And if you're building a team, if the team wasn't developed, why would you stick an inexperienced person in that position? Why? So as naturally, like I told her, I said I would feel this. I personally would feel the same way. As you guys have saw, I feel the same way. Now, the tax manager has a lot more, I would say a little bit more information than me, but that's because they invest in the information. Him scheduling out his time and seeing that all scheduled, like his whole day is scheduled. I'm thinking, you sat down with the owner and the owner told you what to do. Me, y'all ain't sat down and tried to grow me, not one bit. So the fact that you're letting me go, I mean, it sucks in the idea that it's like, fuck, man. But at the same time, it's like it was over. It's a little over too late. It's a little overdue. this situation is a little overdue. I should have left a long time ago if I had enough sense. And I'm not talking shit. I want to be clear because this is not a comfortable position to be put in. But at the same time, it's like it wasn't working for me. It ain't been working for me. There's a lot of things that I'm like, I peep game. I peep what's being done, what's being said. And I'm like, this ain't working for me. Like when that girl came up to me and told me I'm aggressive, girl, you're aggressive. You're the man of the situation, not me. So it's almost like today he was a bit shocked because I think he expected me to like go off and or say something, right? That'll give him some ammo to like, and it's like, nah, why do all that? I know this wasn't working. I was already at a point where if I gotta stay here, I'm about to get my certification and I'm out. Hell, I have like he doesn't stop my certification from happening. I just paid for it today. I just paid for the subscription today, but I've become more focused on it because I have time. So I'm gonna look for a job, you guys, but I also know that I have income. I have at least 3 months of rent when you really, really look at it, right? So it's not that I'm hurting. I don't have it yet. Whenever he decides he wants to pay me my money, you know what I mean? It was owed to me. What I did ask for, and I left quietly because I was thinking, right? You know, you don't want to when that conversation happens, you got to be able to think. And a lot of people act without thinking. And in that moment, it was like, okay, I didn't expect that. Not that soon. I didn't expect it today. I expected that conversation to probably had been had last week or whenever we met or whatever. I didn't expect you to keep playing games in my face after you already had the conversation and then we meet again and you don't have that conversation with me. So I'm not expecting that the next week I come in, but in my mind, like I said, I was struggling with wanting to go to work. I part of me yesterday, I was sitting there. That's part of the reason why I've been up all night. I didn't know that that's what I wanted to do, but I had to do it because again, I'd rather you fire me or excuse me, let me go, not fire me. Excuse me, they're two different things. Let me go than fight like then me quit. Because again, if I'm looking at, I'm not saying that it should take me that long to find a job, obviously, but I'm hoping, right? I watch too much TikTok, but um, I do feel as though I'm not gonna grow in that position. My skill set is so much more than what the position I was being put in. And I think a part of him, again, because I'm competition, even though I'm not really competition, I'm competition. So I'm not going to put her in the bookkeeping side, even though that's what she can do, right? Um, and as far as tax, again, what are you paying me? I mean, what are you paying me? What does the workload look like? What is the progression of me being in tax? If I'm in tax, where does that go? Because again, where does that career go? Do you see a career path? If you're telling me you don't, then you're telling me you don't. And that's okay. And as much as it sucks, I'd rather him tell me I'm let go. What I asked him for was a letter. He says, sure, I'll write it for you. Cool. He wrote the letter for me. I got the letter, you know. And I just think that that was important just because, if I need to collect unemployment, then, I got the option. I'm going to file as soon as I can tomorrow, just because. But I needed in writing that this was the case and why it was the case. Because if you're saying it's my attitude, that could be one just construed one way or the other. But I think that I have too much insight on what I feel the company really is doing, if that makes sense. That's not the route that we should have went down anyway. That's not the right that from a business standpoint, that wouldn't have been the smart move. But to say, you know what, I think we should part ways. I'm letting you go because there's not enough work. If that's what you got to say, then that's cool. That gets me my unemployment check, sir. Not that I expect to see it. I mean, we'll see. This is my first experience in this situation. Like I said, one thing that I did learn was business credit. And I think you guys, I always get pushed back to having my own business. But the problem is I gotta be able to make money to, and that's the hardest part about it is like I want to do my own business. I gotta make money in the process. So I do have a job interview on Thursday. So that's perfect. Like it's interesting timing for that. I would be doing tax returns, which is fine because then I'm in the area of learning and the expertise of learning. Um, I don't know what the conversation of pay looks like. I don't know. Like the owner reached out to me directly, so we'll see what happens there. I'm not too impressed with their reviews, but I am just curious. Like I'm always curious to see what other people are doing and what their systems kind of look like a little bit. I've already settled on my systems right now. I'm small enough where I've kind of figured out my position a little bit. Um, but I'm not in a position anymore, like I said, where I feel like I have nothing but time. Today, I'm taking my mind. I'm chilling. I'm going to deal with the emotion. I mean, I had a little bit of emotion, but it didn't come out. I was proud of myself. I just smiled and okay, cool. Like, all right, cool. And the guy looked a bit disappointed, but in my head, it was like, this is, at the end of the day, I don't have to show you that I care, right? I don't have to show you, I don't have no loyalty. You don't have no loyalty to me. So I damn sure don't have no loyalty to you. You telling me I gotta go. All right, cool. You don't have no work for me, even though you do have work for me. Okay, cool. Whatever. And what's so cold about this situation is I've been feeling for the first time in my life because I know I did right, right? I understand my personality is not I'm not going to allow you to walk all over me. I'm not going to allow you to tell me what you think I should be thinking, right? I think for myself. I'm a person that has no problem saying no, this is what I feel. Like I said, even in those situations, I went to my roommate and I told my roommate what was going on. I didn't tell him because I was so afraid to lose my job, right? But this week needed to happen because in my head, I've got something else I really want to do, even though I appreciate the funding that allows me to do it. But even my prayer today was, please don't let me get so caught up in the company. Let me be able to focus on myself. See, I've got my own laptop. That's the easy part. I've got my own laptop, you know? So I definitely got my own lab, I got my own stuff going, I got my own life. And I think that it was time for us to part ways. I think that's really what it was. That's just me. I really think that it was, time for me to part ways. I think that it was time for me to figure it out. Like I said, I learned about business credit over the weekend. I got accepted to two what are them thing, trade lines. And so I've been learning more and more so that I can build my income and my revenue overall. A lot of that, like I said, I could be worth $1 billion, but if everybody's loaning me money, then of course I have a bunch of cash that I really don't have is credit. So I'm like, shoot, at the time that I done figured this out, it's funny how I've been let go. And that's okay, you guys. I'm not tripping. Like I said, I'm giving myself tonight, and then tomorrow I will be back on the grind. Now I'm really about to be on my grind because my feet are put to the fire, right? So we'll see what God has in store for me, you guys. Right now, I'm not fearful of bills because my bills are paid. Okay, that's just the thing; they are paid. So I'm not too worried about them right now. What I'm really thinking of is, okay, how can I stretch? What am I going to be able to do to stretch this income? What am I going to be able to do? And how fast can I move? Which way am I going? Right. So that requires me to sit in a level of silence. Like I said, I was very impressed with how I handled it. I did not go off. I didn't, cuss him out. I didn't say all the things I felt like I could say. I just made it clear, don't talk to me. Let me pack up my shit. I'm out. So that's what it is. I'm glad, that things worked out. I feel like it was really God, to be honest. I feel like it was a blessing in disguise because I was unhappy. You guys could tell over and over again that I was very unhappy. Now, I may go through some more unhappy periods, but it's only temporary feelings. Hopefully, like I said, I'm going to really strive to think positive. I feel positive. I feel like I didn't really do anything wrong. I feel like, I mean, I did some things I probably did wrong, I'm sure. But I feel like the burden of karma or whatever is not on me, it's on them. So, y'all, I'm not worried about it. I just, been trying to I'm going to stay focused. I'm not trying. Again, tonight, I'm just giving me that time to clear my head, do what I got to do. And then obviously tomorrow we'll wake up and readjust and see what I feel like tomorrow. But everybody I've been talking to about this situation, every single person is like, nah, you needed this. Like it was long overdue. This was a stepping stone, not a like forever thing. Right. So I really would like to see myself take off in my business. That's really where I would like to see myself. I just don't know if I could get there just yet. Right. And that's myself thinking right now. Ain't nobody thinking about bookkeeping and taxes. Let's keep it a buck. Um, but I really want to see where I can go with my business because obviously the more funding that I have, the more I can increase my chances of growing my business without like anybody. So that's been kind of on the forefront. And then obviously this allows me to get my certification a lot easier. So there's a lot of pluses in it. I just pray, and this is something I've been praying because again, obviously I do feel like God is with me throughout all this. I don't feel like the victim necessarily. I feel like, again, the situation's a bit fucked up because it's not rooted in truth. If it was honest, then that would be different. But because it's not truthful, it's just very difficult to um really kind of just take it with it. That's why I didn't treat it with, with enough inner like care. If you're gonna lie to me about why you let me go, that's number one. If you gonna not be honest about what you're thinking, then why should I be honest? That's really what it is. So mentally my mindset was like, you're not gonna have that kind of power over me, bro. You had me sit here all day and you just come to talk to me about this right now. Okay. So the idea that we didn't have no work was crazy. That was stupid. And I think that there was just a level of accountability that certain people don't want to take, man. And it is what it is. And then when you do have people that hold them accountable, then it becomes like this big deal. And for me, it's like, bro, I'm always going to be the girl that holds everyone accountable, including myself. I may not always be able to articulate how I feel, but I also feel like I'm mature enough now to know when to separate myself, when I'm still kind of figuring things out, stuff like that. Right. So where I've seen people be rude to people, I've also seen people be very nice to people, but the conversation has to be in balance. You can't just pinpoint and poke the fingers at the black girl because I'm the only one there. That's not fair. But I'll take it. If that's how you want to run your company, then that's cool. What I do feel like is God, everything happens for a reason. And sometimes that reason, what looks like trouble, what looks like destruction, is actually rebuilding and rebranding and restructuring yourself, you know? So that's what my take is on it. I handled it well. I Like I said, really I think this is on them not choosing, not trying to get to know, not to like they're coming from these mindsets that black people aren't just gonna rock with. You're not gonna be able to call me aggressive and think that I'm not gonna call you out on that shit because I'm not aggressive, bro. I just think that your culture is what you want it to be. And if the person doesn't fit in your mold, then they're discarded of. And that's okay. So I've let the situation be what it is. Like I said, I'm taking the night off to really just process it. Again, that's just who I am. Get myself, if I feel like I need to cry, I don't feel like I need to cry right now. But if I did, I want to be able to um be able to give myself that time to just sit with everything that happened and start fresh tomorrow. So that's where I'm at, you guys. Like I said, I'm not really in a space, I don't feel like I'm in a space of negativity. I don't like how it was done, but I do feel like it needed to be done. And like I said, when you know. That's why it was like, okay, cool. Like I'm gonna pack up my shit. I ain't got shit to say to you. I'm gonna have you write this letter, and I know I gotta be nice because you need more bees with honey than you do vinegar. So I need you to write this letter so that it makes it easier for me to be able to accomplish the things that I'm trying to accomplish after the fact. And we can part ways. And part of that gives me time to be able to build my own and then continue to build on my own. And if I need income, like I'm praying that I can find like contracts and stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Like where I'm not working a lot, but I'm working a lot. I want to be able to work on my own terms. I'm trying not to be too picky, but I understand if it comes down to it, I need money, right? But outside of that, you guys, it's an opportunity for me. How I'm look on this side of the thing is an opportunity for me to apply everything that I learned and let me tell you, run with it. And now I actually have the time to do it. That's the thing. So fingers crossed, my mind stays here, right? I don't get depressed tomorrow. Obviously, I will be doing a live. See, now I'll be doing more lives. Now I'll be doing thumbnails. Now I have the time, right? Right now I have the time. I don't have to go out and hustle right away, right? I have a little bit of time to figure out, okay, what am I going to do? So that's where I'm at, y'all. I appreciate you guys listening, but that's really where I'm at. And I'm sorry if it was all over the place, but you guys got to understand, I've been dealing with this shit for a fucking year and a half. And microaggressions cut. Like, I don't think people know that they do until you like at the end and you're just like, the fuck, I don't like this shit, bro. I'm not happy. And maybe part of it is because I maybe am really built to be an entrepreneur. I'm not built to be working underneath somebody. But all I know is with the level of disrespect that I felt like I received, oh, I'm getting that EA because I know how to get it. I know how to beat the test. I know how to win. And I've got people in my corner still rooting me on for me to win. That's what people are not understanding. So while you hate me, you and your cult, I'm going to do me. So that's where I'm at, y'all. I'm out. Peace.